You are welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. In this lesson, we have biology, and our topic for this lesson is an interesting one.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
The topic is adaptation. Adaptation. Under this topic, we will be focusing more. There are several aspects of adaptation that we can look at, but we will be focusing on structural adaptation and behavioral adaptation. It is expected that by the time this class is over, you'll be able to define adaptation. You will be able to state or highlight the different types of adaptation and discuss extensively on behavioral adaptation. What is adaptation? Adaptation. You get to a new environment, there is the need for you to be able to relate well in that new environment for you to survive it. Adaptation is the process by which an organism becomes fitted to its environment. Remember, we are looking at organism, meaning this topic is not limited to human beings or animals alone. It integrates both plants and animals. And as we continue with the lesson, you will understand better. Adaptation is the result of natural selection, acting upon heritable variations over several generations. Meaning, in nature, certain organisms will be preferred or will adjust, adapt, cope with prevailing situations in whatever environment they find themselves. That means they are what? Naturally selected. And the character, the traits in them will be transferred or be transmitted to another generation. That is the concept of the second line. An organism will adapt in a way that increases the organism's survival. If you cannot survive a prevailing situation, either as a plant or animal, the chance to survive is very small. Certain terms will be used in the course of this topic, and there is the need for us to know the meaning of the terms. So come with me, let's quickly go through the terminologies. The first one is natural selection. Remember I said earlier on that nature, we pick on the organisms that have features to adapt. And what do we have? Natural selection is the process through which species adapt to their environment. What do I mean by species or species? Population of the same kind, organisms that can relate and they reproduce, they are called species. The second terminologies that will be coming across in the course of this topic is mutation. And mutation is said to be a sudden change. In this instance, we are looking at it as sudden structural change in gene or changes in gene and chromosome resulting in a new characteristic that is inheritable, what you can transfer or transmit. The next word is nocturnal. Have you ever heard of the word nocturnal? The other side of it is diurnal. But here we are looking at nocturnal. And what is nocturnal? A behavior in some animals characterized by being active during the night and sleeping during the day. As we have it in bats. You know bats, they are more active at night. Possibly we can mention organisms like rats, cockroaches. Do we have any other one? But the ones that are active day and night, they are called diurnal. But we are emphasizing nocturnal here. The other one is mimicry. Mimicry is the resemblance of an organism to another different organism that has protective features in order to enhance its survival in its habitats. It is not the real organism, but it has features that makes it to look like that organism. Do you remember the word similar? The next word that I want us to gain understanding of is extinction. Extinction. And what does it mean? Complete disappearance of a species from the earth. By reason of this definition, it speaks of total eradication. The organism does not exist again all over the world, anywhere in the world. A common example of this is dinosaur. Dinosaur. Some of you might have been hearing about it or you have watched it. But we can have another form of extinction that is limited to a region or a country or a part of a country where the organism does not exist again. The next word is estivation. What does it mean when we say organism extivate? This is a behavior prompting some animals to spend hot weather in active condition. Estivate. A common example of this can be found in snails. Many of you have seen snails, and you will see that snails will have a membranous substance that will cover the surface. What is the snail doing at that point? It's responding to the process of estivation. Estivation is similar to hibernation or hibernation. What does it mean? It's a behavioral adaptation in some animals in which they spend cold season in active condition or deep sleep in a warm and safe place. Estivation relates to what? Hot weather condition. But when we get to hibernation, it relates to what? Environment that is cold. That is hibernation. So the two words are similar. Here we have another word, camouflage. Let's look at the pictures on the board. There are two separate animals that are being depicted here. And the color of this animal blends so much with the environment. One is a brown color, the other one is green. The one in the brown color is a moth, and the one that depicts the green color is a chameleon. And what is camouflage? Is a natural phenomenon used by plants and animals to blend into their environments. Predators and prey alike use camouflage to avoid detection. What is predator? What are predators? What is a prey? Animals feeding on another one is called a predator. And the one that is fed on is what is known biologically as a prey. So camouflage is a concept in biology that it goes with adaptation. Organism devising either through behavior to blend, to hide itself from being seen. Types of adaptation. There are several, but we are limiting it to 3. Type 1 is behavioral adaptation. Type 2 is physiological adaptation. And the third one that we'll be looking at extensively in this teaching is structural adaptation. When we say behavioral adaptation, what does it involve? What does it entail? When organisms with special attributes or they possess special attributes that involve some parts of an organism's body. For example, we can talk of skin, color, or shape that enables the organism to behave in certain way from the word behavioral. Then we have physiological adaptation. This has to do with the mechanism presented by an organism that allows it to carry out some biochemical responses for its survival. And the last one is structural adaptations. And this describes what ways in which an organism behaves or survives naturally. And in this structural adaptation, forms, structures, and features, they are in use. Here I have some examples of behavioral and structural adaptation. In this first picture up here, I have dogs. What behavior are they putting up? If we are counting, here we have about 5 or 6 of them that they flocked together, they gathered together. They have different features that enables them to cope, adjust, adapt to prevailing situations in the environment. We can talk about their beak, we can talk about their feathers, we can talk about their legs. We cannot see it here vividly, but on their legs they have scales, they have claws, they have webs on their legs. Here is a plant. Can you see this type of roots? Have you seen this type of roots before? What is the relevance of these roots to this particular plant? This is called a buttress root. There are several types of roots. And looking at this pictorial image that we have here, this is revealing behavioral and structural adaptation. The first one is showing us birds as a flock, they move in group. Here we have, the next one is talking about chipmunks that collect and store food so they can find, they are keeping it safe against winter. The other one is opossums. What do? When they are being threatened, what happens to them? They pretend as if they are dead. It's a kind of behavior. We have another organisms that they hibernate. Remember we mentioned the meaning of hibernation. During the harsh weather, cold weather, they go into hiding. Can you see this sunflower? What is it doing? It's receiving the light, ray of light. All of these are behavioral types. The first column, they are all behavioral types of adaptation. Then this second column contains structural adaptation. What do we have? We have a bear with a thick skin so that it can survive when the ice is so much. It lives in the polar region. I mentioned earlier on about the duck. A duck is here. It has a web digit on the legs for swimming in water. Here we have a hawk. What does a hawk do? A hawk is a bird, but it has features. It can fly. Then it has claws, like a long nail, short one, long one, that enables it to hold and carry the prey, the animal that is going to feed on. We have a rabbit. What is it known for? Can you see the earlobes? The earlobes. It enables it to detect sound from a long distance. And here we have a cactus plant. So when we are talking about behavioral adaptation, we said earlier on that organisms adapt, they change their behavior in order for them to adjust and be settled into an environment that they are living in. This includes any action done on purpose that can aid survival, whatever that is behavioral, the manner in which the organism exhibits traits. We have some examples of such behaviors. The first one, animals that burrow under the ground. What does it mean to burrow? The animal will dig through the soil in order for it to either seek for food or go there to hide. It's a form of adaptation which organism manifests. A good example of this, we can talk about earthworm. Earthworm. It burrows into the soil. It lives there. Its food, it derives its food from there. The other one we mentioned, hibernation. Remember we mentioned hibernation, we defined earlier on. We have nocturnal organism. Can you still remember nocturnal? Organisms are very active at night. Daytime, they go to sleep. And a number of other things that we can use to describe how organisms adjust to prevailing situation. Here we have more specific examples of characters, behaviors put up by organisms classified under behavioral adaptation. Plants. Several plants. They have ways in which they adjust, adapt to prevailing situation. The common ones, shedding of leaves. They do it during the dry season. Death of vegetative parts that you see organism as if it is dead. As if the organism is dead, the plant is dead, bringing up brown color, but it is not really dead. It is an adaptive feature. Dormancy. The one that is behaving as if it is dead is undergoing a state of dormancy, is inactive at that point in time. Phototropic movement of plant shoots. If you have yam growing on your farm or somewhere around you, you will just discover that the stem, the leafy part of the stem, the tendril, will be looking for support. It is a response. It's an adaptive feature. Carnivorous plants. Did you hear me? Carnivorous plants. Carnivores occurs in animal. Yes, there are a group of plants that are called carnivorous plants or we call them insectivorous plants. They are plants, but they have structures that enables them to trap and capture animals. Then I mentioned this one earlier when I was looking at phototropic movements, that we have coiling of leaves for them to receive support and move on. The next one is behavioral adaptation for avoiding adverse weather conditions. These three words, the first two here, I've explained it earlier on: estivation, hibernation. Estivation, an organism becomes inactive towards harsh condition. Hibernation, the organism becomes inactive due to cold weather or temperature. What about migration? This is the movement of organism from one place to another, like fishes. When we get to the dry season, a number of the fishes, they will leave their habitats to go to another habitat where they get water. Cattle rearers goes around with their cattle because they are looking for food for survival. Then we quickly look at behavioral adaptation to protect prey from predators. Prey, organism fed on, predators, the one that is feeding, killing and feeding on the other one. How do they escape? One, hiding. I showed us in the picture that some animals will be like they are dead, sleep, stay, they are calm, so that they will not be noticed by predators. The second feature is swaying in the air. Maybe you have at a point seen a monkey or even a chameleon with their long tail, the prehensile tail. What do? They roll it around the stem of a tree and they release themselves. It's a way of escaping from predators. Remaining motionless, we have secretion of irritating liquids. We have feign death, like millipede. You touch millipede, it will coil in as if it is dead. We have swelling up by toads. If a toad is threatened, you just notice that the size of the body will increase, swells up. All these are adaptive features that occur or that affect the behavioral pattern of the organisms. What are the other features? We have mechanical protection, like these snails, they have a shell. Then we talk about chemical protection, like toad, when it's threatened, it's from the poisonous gland. It produces poisonous substances. We have concealing coloration. Example that I gave here is chameleon. Do you know a chameleon that picks the color of the environment? That is concealing its color. It's trying to hide so that you don't see it. We have green mamba. It's a snake that is found on vegetation that is green. Mimicry, as we have in moths, praying mantis. Then we have rolling the body into a ball. This rolling of body into a ball is commonly found in porcupine. We have some organisms that detach their body parts, like lizards, like wall geckos. If they feel threatened, you try to hit a lizard or a wall gecko, it will break off the tails. And as you are monitoring, looking at the tail that is detached, the organism will just escape. Here I have pictures showing more of behavioral adaptation. These organisms, they live together in groves. It's a form of social behavior under behavioral adaptation. Earlier on, I was telling you about a group of animals or certain animals that swelled in the air. We have it here. Can you see the tail? The tail, this picture and that other one having the tails, twisting it around a stem. Then the second type of adaptation is what we call physiological adaptation. Physiological adaptation, what does it mean? Actions by body parts which controls life processes that guarantee survival or involuntary action or change. For example, a snake. If a snake is threatened, what will it do? It produces venom. Anybody that has received a snake bite, especially the poisonous one, venom is injected into the body. Then we talk of storage of food in bulbs. Onion bulbs, we eat the leaves. It is the stored food that we eat. Then we talk of animals that dilate to keep you cold. Human beings, When the weather is hot, what happens? We sweat. And when the weather is cold, what happens? We don't sweat at that time. We seek for clothes to cover our body. It is a behavioral type. Physiological adaptation. They have light. Looking at this horse, what features do they have? They have light bones to help them run fast away from predators. Their bones are light, so it doesn't hold them down. They are able to move their body. What other features do they have? Strong and flat teeth that helps them to eat grass or grasses. They are herbivores, plant eater. They have a layer of fat under their skin to keep looking fit and not fat to predators. Then lastly, they have strong leg muscles, and one kick can kill a puma, their prey, or when they feel threatened. So these are features possessed by what? A zebra, that enables it to adapt to prevailing situations in the environment. Based on the topics that we have considered today, adaptation and the types, here are some practice questions. The first one says, mention 5 behavioral adaptation exhibited by plants. Mention 5. Mention 5 behavioral adaptation. Sign of omission. Adaptation exhibited by plants. The second question says, define the following terms. What are the terms? Migration, estivation, hibernation, and camouflage. Remember, we use all of this in the course of teaching the topic. You have 2 minutes. All right, we want to look at the features that is exhibited by plants. Plants exhibit the following features. Number 1, shedding of leaves, death of vegetative parts. We have dormancy. We have phototropic movements of plant shoots, carnivorous plants, coiling response of leaves. Then the definition of terms. The first terms to be defined is migration. Migration is the movement of organisms for feeding, breeding, and avoiding harsh weather conditions. Meaning, organisms will move for many reasons, among which we have mentioned 3. Number 1 here is feeding, breeding, that is reproduction, and the third one is to escape from danger. Number 2 terminologies, estivation, state of dormancy, inactive condition during period of harsh weather conditions. Remember, I gave an example of snails that have whitish membrane covering their opening. The next word is hibernation. This is a state of prolonged inactivity and metabolic depression in animals during winter, allowing the organism to conserve energy. During that time, when they hibernate, they have minimal movement, so they are able to store in more energy in their body. And finally, the word camouflage. When organism blends, what is the word here? When organism blends in with its surrounding in order for it to avoid detection. What is the purpose of camouflaging? Is to avoid being detected. They can be detected, avoidance by 1, predators. Predators can camouflage. Equally, we have the prey. The second one, we have the prey that can take up color or what we make them to blend with their environment. For questions, for observations, you can reach us on the social media handles that is on display on the screen. Thank you.